internet, welcome to Not Film Theory. And I am not MatPat, I am Chester, or on social media CStarVD. And this is my video essay for Utrecht University of Applied Sciences, heavily inspired by the Theorist channels. You could call it a parody even, but my color is purple. Instead of talking about FNAF, well, a little, or throwing wild theories of people in Wall-E eating human flesh, I'll need to defend my standpoint. Censorship in American film and TV is an unnecessary, childish and an unrealistic way of storytelling. Cameras, lights, and action. I myself am European, Dutch to be exact, Brabants to be precise, and here we swear a lot. We do it on talk shows, at family dinners, and just whenever we feel like it. Of course, we watch our mouths around young children, but sometimes their mouths are filthier than the adults.
Fuck you, lelijke aap die je bent.
Je mag zo...
Lelijke kanker, lelijke kanker die je bent.
But then of course you've also got people like this.
Waarom doen ze dat wel eens achterlijk dan? Die achterlijke kankerrieten zo. Ik krijg echt een mooie pestkanker van. Ja, godverdomme Rob. Godverdomme. Laat dat kankerding ook even weg. Dan zie je toch godverdomme toch? Godverdomme. Ik krijg toch de pestkankertering. Godverdomme van dat bloedkankerding.
Then combine him with Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon, may I introduce you to Tini and Lau? Tini and Lau, everybody.
God for the kanker. You can take the fucking lid off next time. Okay, you're not paying the bills because we've got no fucking gas either.
And that was on television. It was from somewhere around 2009, but nothing really changed. Even the Dutch Prime Minister in 2021 couldn't keep his mouth clean.
Scholen kunnen openhouden. Oh, god.
There were some people upset, but hey, you can't do anything without making at least one person upset. But let's reflect on the first two clips. Do we think that's acceptable? No. This is very inappropriate, but we don't censor it, because that's the reality of life, and it's protected by the law. That's some Dutch freedom of speech for you. We oftentimes say things like fuck, shit and cunt, but we also use diseases such as the plague, typhus and cancer. Cancer also gets used as a verb, but it's heavily frowned upon. I don't use cancer a lot, I stick to fuck, shit and cunt. In the United States, they're more prude. They don't want to protect children from gun violence, but they desperately want to protect children from the word fuck. There are very strict regulations when it comes to the word fuck in film and TV in the US. You may use the F-bomb one time in a non-sexual context.
Open the fucking door!
But God forbid to use it twice. Well, God, or the Motion Picture Association of America, or also known as the MPAA. A motion picture single use of one of the harshest sexually derived words, though only as an expletive, initially requires at least a PG-13 rating. More than one such expletive requires an R rating, as must even one of those words used in a sexual context. The MPAA simply made certain guidelines for filmmakers to follow moral principles, but allows more creative freedom than its predecessor, the Hays Code. It's not an American thing to have guidelines for film rating. The entire world uses guidelines and censorship, some a bit more than others. Just a little step out of line and you've got yourself a golden ticket to have your movie rated R. But let's just focus on Western media. Why can't you say fuck, unlike American television, and in Europe they won't bat an eye? It all comes down to children. Oh, by the way, if you came this far, just leave a like and subscribe. Thank you! Let's continue. When I started to research the American movie rating system, I mainly noticed that they do not focus on scientific evidence, but rather what parents deem appropriate. The ratings are assigned by a board of parents. In the Netherlands, the film ratings are based on a checklist developed by scientists that are specialized in children and media. They did research, they do consider parental concerns, but it's not the basis. Profane language in American films can get you a R rating, but in the Netherlands profane language will never determine the rating. You can let SpongeBob use the most awful words as long as they don't discriminate, and the show will still be rated 6. Since there is no scientific evidence that exposure to vulgar language causes real harm, more about that later, Kijkwijze has no scientific reason to rate such a film or show 12 or higher. But then you also got the other way around, when it comes to more scary stuff and violence. The parental board thinks it's fine for their kids to get exposed to this stuff, while there are scientists that say that exposure to this amount of violence is harmful to individuals younger than their rating. No wonder that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was rated 16 in the Netherlands. In the US it was rated PG-13. Let's translate that. Children in the US went to a NC-17 movie according to the Netherlands, and according to the US there were 15-year-olds denied access for a film for 12-year-olds. That difference is dramatic, and it's not like they're separated by one step. No, in the US it skipped rated R, and in the Netherlands it skipped 14. And that's not even unique. Many different nations rate films differently. Wait, in Italy, it rated fucking 6? Heard that? Me swearing? Adding comedic effect? Great storytelling? And that's what this video essay is all about. That uncensored swearing is a part of storytelling. But Hollywood, located in the land of the free, where rule number 1 is that you can say everything you want, can't say the 7 dirty words? Why? The easy answer: the church. In the Journal of Children and Media, the article about swearing in the cinema deep dives into, well, swearing in films. When I read this article, I did not find hard evidence of negative effects of swearing. I mainly found that society is concerned and the term moral panics. In another article from 2012 written by Dr. Timothy J. and Professor Kristen Janshevitz, who researched the psychology behind swearing, also found that there is a lack of evidence that the usage of profane language causes harm and has more to do with things like religious values. They even found positive effects of swearing. Swear words can achieve a number of outcomes, as when used positively for joking or storytelling, stress management, fitting in with the crowd, or as a substitute for physical aggression and enhanced pain tolerance. Of course, we can try and censor everything, but Jay and Janshevitz found out that children old enough to go to school already know 30 to 40 words that are considered offensive. They do not know how they know that, but they do. Bad words are not necessarily always negative. It can also be used in a positive emotional context. Children would use words that are not as offensive as some adult words, but they learn the big people words eventually. It's a part of learning to speak a language. If we look at neuroscience, there's still research being done, but what we do know is that swearing likely happens in a different part of the brain than the part we use to talk normally, the basal ganglia, amygdala, and other parts of the limbic system. It's very important for processing memory and emotion. Swear words might be seen to trigger an evolutionary-based fight-or-flight response in the individual, which would partly explain why, in laboratory settings, swear words increase attention and recall, generate heightened autonomic or physiological responses, and produce both pain relief and heightened stamina strength. Swearing has actually more benefits than most people would expect. The only thing holding us from using bad words in film and TV are other people dictating what you can and can't say because of their feelings. The fun part about those feelings is that swearing could even strengthen emotional connection. It can be used to build trust. Now, this doesn't mean you should say slurs, because they are insults and oftentimes discriminating and dehumanizing, and is actually a way of inflicting harm upon others and is actually harmful to children. Swearing is more expressive than insulting. People that oftentimes swear, like me, don't swear to be insensitive or insult people, but to express their feelings through more powerful words. In a news story of the Dutch Youth News, they had an item about swearing and cursing in books made for children.
De Bond tegen Vloeken is niet blij met het taalgebruik in kinderboeken. Ze hebben 27 boeken onderzocht en in 17 daarvan kwamen grove woorden voor. Soms veel, soms maar een paar.
Ik schrik daarvan. Ja, echt.
Ook worden er in een aantal boeken vloekwoorden gebruikt.
Ik zal er één noemen. Ik doe dat niet gauw. Maar om het even wat duidelijk te maken, het woord verdomme, dat komt er regelmatig in voor. Dat vinden we al erg.
There are people that are against it and people that think it's part of storytelling. The Dutch writer Sjoerd Kuiper, who writes books for adults and children, says the following about swearing and cursing in children's books.
Godverdomme, Donnie was voor zijn doen enorm actief geweest, brommer gejat.
Waarom is dat woord nou nodig daar dan?
Omdat het heel erg is.
En het kan niet met vervelend, mijn brommer is gestolen.
Nee, echt niet. Dat zegt toch geen mens.
Het is wel een voorbeeldplek, zo'n boek.
Nee, wat je wel en niet mag, daar zijn schrijvers niet voor. En dan denk je, ja, dan snap ik wel dat kinderen minder lezen tegenwoordig. Ze worden betutteld in die boeken. Ze herkennen zichzelf niet meer in die boeken. Nou, in mijn boek wel. Maar ik vind dat de heftigheid van het moment het best uitgedrukt wordt in hoe alle mensen altijd reageren. En lelijke woorden met ziektes gebruik ik niet eens. Omdat ik weet hoe afschuwelijk die zijn. En dat, maar ja...
Maar andere mensen vinden dit afschuwelijk.
Ja, weet ik. Ja, die hebben dan pech.
Swearing with diseases? No. Anything else? Fine. Even if it's considered rude, do we need to censor it? Swearing is a part of life, a part of stories. It is reality, and other times very funny.
Monkey on the car.
Monkey on the car.
Fuck off.
Now, what have we learned? We now know that the values of some parents are more important in the United States than scientific research. Not a huge revelation, but still, in my opinion, problematic. The United States is the most influential nation in the world when it comes to media production. Their mass communication is insane compared to the rest of the world. When Hollywood wants you to think a certain way, they'll censor creative work into what they want you to think is appropriate. They can prime you for an agenda they see fit. There's a danger of having a small group of people that determine what's good or bad based off their personal values, especially in media. Like Allen Ginsberg once said, whoever controls the media controls the culture. In the end, censorship in American film and TV is not about protecting anyone, but protecting the values of a certain group of people. And what does it achieve? Only the restriction of proper storytelling and the true freedom of speech and expression. Does swearing make a film better? Not necessarily. Does it make it realistic? Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if Iron Man turns out to have the filthiest mouth of world's mightiest heroes, or if someone in the FNAF movie saying, "What the fuck?" Now, I don't say that the Teletubbies should start swearing. My point is that in storytelling, swearing is a part of that. Especially when it comes to violence. If I would be in an Avengers level threat, I would throw a "kill that motherfucker"
Language.
So let's start telling stories with more expression and swear it will be good. And good. If you'd like to see the academic version, so what I've handed in, just click on the video next to me. The intro is a little bit different. Bye bye.